Hey everyone! So today I'd like to talk to you about game shops in New York City that any tourist should check out. This is a part of my ongoing series that I'm starting on tourism in New York City, the places you should be going, the places you should avoid, and this video is about game shops because I really enjoy gaming. I think everyone should get into gaming. If you don't game at all, I think these stores will be a really great place to go to anyway because it just gives you more of a communal feel for New York City, especially with some of the more neighborhood shops. And I personally think it's really important to experience the city as a person living in the city would experience it when traveling. And for a geek, that means going to some really good game shops. So let's get started with my 4 recommendations on game shops in New York City. The first one I've already mentioned in my previous video on comics, and it's NYC Comics. Even though this store has comics in the title, it really does cater a lot to trading card game people. This is a place you can go if you're stationed in your hotel in Upper Manhattan or more Midtown Manhattan and you're really craving some draft or any kind of late night trading card game experience. These guys have something going on basically every night, and you can buy all kinds of trading cards there, look at all the cards they have for sale in singles, and just generally meet some really cool people who work there. My second recommendation is probably my favorite store in New York City. Unfortunately, it's a bit tough for me to get to personally, but if your hotel is in more of Manhattan basically and you can get to the L train really easily, this place is a must to go to. It's called 20-Sided Store, aka like a 20-sided die, and it's recently started its expansion, so maybe by the time you head to New York City they'll already have this beautiful brand new store. But this store is amazing because the people there are so awesome. You can play any game you want there for free. All the games that they have in the store are available to play with. And they also do run trading card game nights as well. The only downside is that it's in Williamsburg, which still is a bit of a pain to get to because only one train goes there from Manhattan, and then the G train runs there, which never take the G train. Ever. So yes, out of all 4 of these recommendations, I would definitely recommend 20-Sided Store the best. They are amazing. I could only recommend one gaming store for a tourist to go to. It would still be 20-Sided Store despite its location. Third recommendation would be a store called Brooklyn Strategist. Now, honestly, I don't really enjoy this store. It is absolutely gorgeous, but they do make you pay to play their games, which is a little ridiculous considering that a store like 20-Sided, which is also in Brooklyn, it lets you play for free. And I guess since they, I don't know, have a pretty layout, they want you to pay. But I am still recommending the store because they have a geek chic table, and if you know anything about tabletop gaming furniture, a geek chic table is like the epitome of awesome. If you've ever seen Tabletop on Geek and Sundry, it's the table that they use to play the tabletop games on. It's beautiful. You do have to reserve a spot to play with it, so if you want to plan out your gaming night in New York City, Brooklyn Strategist has a geek chic table and you may want to look into that. Otherwise, it is also in Brooklyn and it's not that much of a pain to get to. The F train goes there, so does the G train, but don't take the G train. I'll also be leaving all the addresses for these stores in the description if you do want to MapQuest them or whatever you do nowadays. And the last store that I'm going to recommend to you is Complete Strategist. Complete Strategist is in a pretty good location for tourists. It's in the 33rd Street area of Manhattan, close to Macy's, the Empire State Building. So you can stop by on your way to all those silly locations. Complete Strategist is packed full of tons of games. Like, if you want to find an obscure game, or miniature for that matter, for your D&D campaign, it'll be there. They also have a lot of space in their basement for people to play their encounters and stuff. And they do hold some special events for role-playing games and tabletop games in general. I believe it's one of the older game shops in New York City, so you should definitely support them by buying a few games from there. Overall, it's a really cool place to go to, especially if you're not just into the more fantasy, obscure role-playing games, but also just general board games. They have every kind of board game, even the normal ones like Trouble or Scrabble, or I don't even remember what they are nowadays. So yes, those are my 4 recommendations for game shops in New York City. Once again, let me know if I missed anything in the comments down below, and I'll see you in my next video on New York City traveling. Bye bye!